Welcome to Thursday. It's been a while, but we're actually doing Lunch Bunch again. There's been a lot of doctor's appointments, but we're finally back. We got Dan and Roland and Will and Austin and Mal also is here. They have a new sandwich at McAllister's that we tried. What's it called? Steak and
white cheddar.
Steak and white cheddar. It's pretty good. I don't think it's my favorite, but it was all right. I don't know that I'd get it again. Anyway, we'll see y'all
Not next week.
Oh.
You have
Yeah,
an appointment.
all right, I gotta go. I have another doctor's appointment. Fun. This is gonna seem ridiculous, but if you look at this side of my face and you compare it to this side of the face, you might be able to tell. I got sunburnt today. I was the only person of our group at lunch that was sitting directly in the sun, and I often do that because I don't want anyone else to feel like they have to sit in the sun, and I don't mind being warm. So whenever we were setting up the tables, I was like, there's clearly one spot that was getting blasted by sun. I was like, I'll sit there, it's no problem. I didn't even think about getting sunburnt, but we were there for about probably 90 minutes outside, and the sun was beating down on me, but then it never bothered me. But yeah, it was much later. I was working, and it felt like my blood pressure was high. Because sometimes when you have high blood pressure, like your ears are hot. And I was like, ooh, I'm having high blood pressure. And I felt my ear, and I was like, oh my God, I'm so hot. And I felt my other ear, and it was cool. And I was like, huh. And then I moved my head, and I could feel like my head up here is just a little stiff. And I looked at Mao, and she goes, you got sunburnt. And I was like, oh. Now, the good news is that typically for me with sun-related stuff is I don't really have a problem. I probably won't have if any pain related to this, and it'll probably not stay red for long.
Yeah.
That's just how my skin is. But it was a little alarming, and it was a reminder of you did sort of sit in blasting sun for 90 straight minutes, so it's fine. Anyway, after lunch, we went and got some groceries, and amongst the things that we got was it's the Costco chicken Alfredo that it's like
the ready meals.
Yeah, and this stuff's always been really good. I love the Costco ready-made meals. They are a good deal. They are delicious. We've always had a really good experience with them. We love the street tacos, but the chicken Alfredo is good too.
That said,
Yeah.
Alfredo's a little flavorless, so this is a necessary ingredient.
Oh, absolutely. If you're not putting Zatarain's blackened seasoning on Alfredo, I don't know what you're doing, to be perfectly honest. I do not know what you're doing. Today's vlog is going to be a fun subject because we are about to watch the final episode of King of the Hill. We've been watching King of the Hill for a while, some amount of time, like a year, practically a year.
I'm sure it's in your email.
It's probably in my email. So we're gonna watch the final episode, and then we'll spend a little bit of time talking about King of the Hill as a series. So this will be, I guess, our King of the Hill series review.
Diet Bobby.
We did it. We watched all King of the Hill episodes. I'm pretty sure there were approximately 950.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm thinking of Naruto. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
There's over 200 something episodes of King of the Hill, and we have been watching it for a long time. I think we generally watch TV a little less often than most folks, so I think people could probably get through it a little bit faster than we could.
Yeah.
We usually watch one at dinner, and not always. So your mileage may vary. King of the Hill is a show that I have just always adored. In fact, at different times, I've definitely said that it's amongst my favorite shows. I've always been a fan of animation and adult animation. And King of the Hill, I don't know. There's something about its down-to-earth, relatively grounded in reality nature.
Yeah.
That does it for me. I mean, I don't know. I've always really connected with it.
See, I enjoyed watching it now more than when I saw it in the past. Because in the past, like, it was fine. I didn't dislike it. It was just the show that was on before Simpsons to me.
Sure, yeah.
Because I didn't really connect with it.
I really enjoyed watching it when it was on, because it hasn't been in syndication in a while.
Yeah.
But there's 13 seasons of it, and honestly, all of the seasons are pretty good. I feel like the beginning of the show is probably stronger, but that's doing the show a bit of a disservice because that implies that the show gets worse. And I don't know that the show gets worse. I think that the show stays pretty steady.
Yeah.
For the entirety of the show, for basically the whole thing. There's not like huge like, oh, what are they doing with the show? It's like, no, that doesn't really happen. I think the beginning is a little stronger, but there's individual episodes in every season that are particularly strong. I think the thing that was most surprising to me, as someone who is finally watching King of the Hill, I mean, for one, all of it, but then seeing it chronologically, is how much continuity there is in the show. A remarkable amount.
More than I thought there would be.
More than there normally is for this type of thing. Because it's not like an ongoing narrative, but there's so many little details that they kind of change up big parts of the story and then they just stick with it.
Yeah.
Like early on, one of the big things is that Joseph has a growth spurt, and then like that's it. Like his character design has changed, and that that's altered. There's,
or Luann moving in or out or to a different place.
Or her occupation. A lot of the occupations of the characters.
Yeah.
Peggy's occupation changes. Luann's occupation and schooling and stuff changes.
Yeah.
The whole thing with like John Redcorn and
his occupation.
His occupation, and then also his relationship with Nancy. Like all of this stuff like evolves through the course of the show. And it's just kind of neat because there's not a lot of other shows that are like this that do this. So many shows in this vein really like just reset every episode, and that's not happening, and that's actually kind of cool. This is one of my favorite parts about it. There are rumors that it's going to get it's not necessarily a reboot. The talks that are happening right now about the King of the Hill revival are to bring it back like with a time jump. Yeah. Which I think is super cool. I really, really like that idea.
Because no one else has done that.
Yeah. I don't know if I want to say that because I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar.
I've seen.
Sure. Yeah. But I think also just for King of the Hill would be really appropriate.
Yeah.
I would love to see Bobby grown up. Mm-hmm. I would love to see Hank older. The show is so good. It's in many ways relatable. You're always relating to a certain character or a certain situation, and the characters they feel very real. I think it's one of the reasons that it's so good. Bobby is possibly one of the most well-written characters in any show I've ever seen. Because Bobby is a character that is not normally shown in television, but exists very much in the real world. A very, like, a slightly misunderstood kid who is into not necessarily all the things that everyone else is into. And so well written and so well played, but also so many other characters are, too. Yeah. I don't know if I have a favorite episode, because there's just so many that I enjoyed. Mm-hmm. But I will say the one where Bill joins the men's choir has always been a favorite. But that's mostly because I really like Dale's
rant at the end.
Mm-hmm. Dale is a really good character. Yeah. Dale is a really, really good character. Anyway, like, any other thoughts on the show?
I remembered more than I thought I would.
Yeah.
Because, like, in my memory, I'm like, there's that one episode where there's the cult episode, there's this episode, there's the pocket sand episode, and, like, they'd come up and I'd be like, oh, yeah, this one. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this one. So I remembered more than I thought, but I didn't really see a lot of the last few seasons because they came out when I was in college. Yeah. And I wasn't really watching TV at that point in my life.
One of the weird things, I guess it's not that weird, but because this happens to other shows, but there's not really an ending.
Yeah.
To
I thought that was a little disappointing.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that too, because you spend so much time, for us, it's been a year watching the show, and then you kind of expect it to, in some ways, wrap up, and it doesn't. It's just...
Not at all.
I kind of get the impression that the episode where Hank and Bobby were grilling the steaks at the end, where Bobby, goes to the meat competition.
Yeah.
That
would have been a good end.
It has some feelings of a finale. And then the big one that had the huge feelings of finale but was not in the last season was the wedding.
Yeah.
That really felt like kind of a conclusion, but then there's an entire season after it. So
the one where they finish Cotton's Last Wishes.
Yeah.
That one felt
there's
that way too.
Yeah. But the final episode is
yeah,
just an episode. So anyway, it's still a good show. Still, I highly recommend it. It stands up, today. I would say, watch the first season or maybe half the first season, and if it jives with you, the feeling of the show is remarkably similar throughout. The comedic tone changes maybe ever so slightly after the first few seasons.
The art changes a little.
Yeah, everything about it gets a little more, I think, refined.
Yeah.
I think in the first season, and maybe a little bit of the second season, they kind of lean into the redneck nature of some of the comedy, and then they kind of refine that a little bit as the show goes on, where it's less about these people being rednecks in an alley, and it's no, this is just a normal American family.
Yeah.
So that changes a little bit, but really enjoyed the show throughout. So yeah.
Yeah.
The question is, what are we gonna watch next? I don't know. Just don't ask. We'll probably take a break from watching a big syndicated series, and we'll just watch something else, and then at some point we'll watch
something. Yeah.
That'll be the plan. Anyway, all right. That is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?